All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 306 Fantasy Football Podcast. We're here recording on the Monday night for our episode number 45. We're doing a little bit of Guess Who action this year. We did it last season, and it was an awesome episode. A lot of fun had on that one. So we're going to do that one all over again. And unfortunately, we have to record on the Monday while the Tar Heels are playing right now. So might have to be doing a little dip to the phone and watch. Hopefully UNC can pull this one out to finish off March Madness, but we're going to talk a little football while that's going on. So episode 45, we got the Guess Who, and we also got a special guest on. If you watched Guess Who last time, we got a familiar face again here for the Guess Who round 2, and we're going to say hello first to Dwayne Gareau. Thanks for joining us, Dwayne, and how we doing?
I'm doing great. It's nice to be back. I think I was one of the first guests way back. I can't remember which episode number it was, but it's good to be back and excited to play some Guess Who.
Yeah, hopefully don't stump us as bad as last time, because man, we caught a lick in there. It was a tough go. What about yourself there, Armand? It's been what, 2 weeks since we got a chance to chat. It's seems like it's been too long. What's been keeping you busy?
The regular basketball season ended for school sports, and now it's into the club season. So got tryouts this week. Looking forward to that and seeing who all signed up. See if any of my kids that I coached are there, and hopefully get to coach them again.
Never a dull moment for Armand Schellenberg, eh? Always busy, that guy. Whether it's football, basketball, he always busy, eh? Never a dull moment.
Yeah. Don't forget rugby.
Yeah, always something. Hey, never relaxing. Hey, Armand, you got to kick those feet up sometimes, I think. While we're going here too, if you're watching on YouTube, you may have noticed, but for those of you at home, if you've been following our social medias, you would have seen it on there. But we've got some nice new black 306 Fantasy Football Podcast hats going. I'm wearing mine this episode. Dwayne's got his on, and there's a glaring missing hat on Armand Schellenberg's head. Arm, you want to tell everybody what happened to yours there, or what?
Well, they look so clean. This weekend went saw some family in Saskatoon, and my brother-in-law, he liked my hat so much he stole it from me. He took it. I did get a hat out of the deal. He gave me his hat that he had. It's a one-of-a-kind hat too. It's like Axiom Group or something like that, but it's like a suede green hat with a leather print on it, but doesn't look quite as clean as our hats.
That's how nice these hats are, folks, that people are willing to steal them, I guess, just to get their hands on them. So making Armand buy back another hat there, a little proceeds for him back right out of Armand's pocket. But yeah, so if you want to get your hands on a 306 Fantasy Football Podcast, reach out to us on our social media, and we'll be able to hook you up. If you're in Prince Albert, we can drop it off nice and easy. If you're out of town somewhere, we can ship those out to you, no problem. We'll be able to get hats in your hands if that's what you like. So reach out to us on social media. We'll be get you a hat, no problem. And before we get this episode started, we hinted at it last one. We got a big announcement. I'm pretty sure actually the last time we had Dwayne on, we had a big announcement to do with sponsorship too. But we got our major sponsor of the year. And for this upcoming season, our major sponsor is going to be 22 Fresh. If you're from Saskatchewan, I'm sure you're very familiar with the 22 Fresh brand. So we're very, very happy about that. We're going to be rocking 22 Fresh all year, and we get some stuff for the charity league. It's going to be awesome. And you have to stay tuned with have a little bit of a 306 fantasy football promo code coming soon too. So we're pretty excited about that one, especially myself. I'm a big 22 Fresh fan. I know Zach and Armand are pretty excited about that one too, and might have to get our hands on some 22 Fresh stuff for our special guest there, Dwayne, as he's a 2-time special guest now. So might have to get some honorary 22 Fresh gear for him. What do you figure? Should we anything to add here, Armand, before we start off some insiders and headliners?
No, that about covers it. I'm excited for the new sponsorship. It's awesome. I've never had any of their clothing before, but I've always been jealous of those who have.
Yeah, I know they're very, very big, especially down in southern Saskatchewan. That's where they started out of Regina. A lot of the high schools partner up with them to do their school clothing. I know the Humboldt Foundation, after the bus crash, they did a bunch of stuff with Sask Junior Hockey League with T-shirts and hoodies and stuff like that. And I'm a big fan. Very comfortable product, and yeah, very happy to be partnering up with them. But we'll get some insiders and headliners going here.
I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
Things are they're slowing down a little bit here in the free agent frenzy. So the insiders and headliners, thank goodness, it's not as long as it's been the last little bit. But one really big trade to talk about was the Tyreek Hill trade, and this seemed to happen. It seemed to happen in about an hour. We got notification that the contract negotiations maybe weren't going as well as planned. So then Tyreek Hill might be traded, and then seemingly you put your phone down, look back 5 minutes later, and he was already dealt. But there's a possibility between Miami and the Jets, and Miami were the winners. So Tyreek Hill was sent to Miami for a package of 5 picks, 2022 first, a second, and a fourth, as well as a fourth and a sixth in 2023. And as immediately after this trade had happened, he signed a 4-year deal worth $120 million, and $72.2 million of that guaranteed. And this put everybody into a huge frenzy, because I know the whole conversation earlier before that trade was, all right, now DeVonta Adams is traded. Maybe we have a brand new wide receiver guaranteed one in town. It's Tyreek Hill, undisputed. He's got Mahomes. He's got Kansas City. It's a good offense. And then all of a sudden now he's dealt to Miami. Now is he guaranteed the wide receiver one? Now there's a whole conversation of who's the wide receiver one in Dynasty, who's the wide receiver one in redraft. What does this mean for Jalen Waddle? So I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Maybe Dwayne, let's hear what you got to say first. What does this mean, I guess, for maybe Mahomes? What does this mean for Tyreek? What does this mean for Miami? What do you think?
I'll start with Mahomes. Mahomes is going to be fine. I don't envision a huge drop off for him. And saying that, there will be maybe the first start of the season will be a bit of a getting used to what he's got there. But I like it for Miami. I don't know necessarily if investing that type of money in a wide receiver is maybe the best choice. But in terms of just if I was looking at a singular type of year thing, Tua is getting some weapons. That is a very dynamic offense, with a very dynamic play caller, a new head coach there, and he's a magician, and he puts guys in the right spots. So they're a dangerous team. I like it for them in terms of their offense.
I'm really curious on what this is going to do, because personally, I think, you had to surround Tua with weapons, right? So you're coming up to a potential end of his rookie contract, and you got to know what you got with Tua, right? So best way to find out what you got, you put around weapons. If you can't succeed, then you know what you got to do moving forward. So, but I think this is an opportunity for him to sink or swim. But with those weapons he's got, you already named it. Like, it's going to be, he's surrounded by studs, and it's his opportunity. But one thing I wanted to kind of talk about too is, I mean, Armand, as a football coach, you might be able to test this too. They're talking about, maybe Tua doesn't have the arm to get downfield, and then everybody's kind of going into, you remember last year though, Tyreek Hill actually his ADOT wasn't that far downfield. There's a lot of line of scrimmage, a lot of screens, get the ball in his hand and try and create space. But I think a lot of people forget that that's because look what the defense has started doing to Kansas City. They ran that cover 2 over top to try and really limit those home run shots and made them nickel and dime, right? So is that a product of, you want to get Tyreek the ball in space on line of scrimmage, or is that product of the defense that they're throwing at them? Now, saying that as well, with Tua, with his arm strength, are they going to see a lot of the cover 2 over top? I think these are things that, as people, maybe a regular fantasy player might not be considering these types of things, but obviously as us, maybe trying to go into deep dive to understand, is this a good thing for Hill, a bad thing for Hill? Can we expect the same? Can we expect a dip? These are things I think are good to consider. Now, are we going to see the same, the cover 2, do you think, over top, or do you think we're going to see a little bit more of a heavier up front type of defense with 2 other Armand?
It's something that will be tough to say right off the bat, but you'll definitely see what teams will see what Miami is wanting to do, and they'll try and take that away, right? But you gotta think with these weapons, Miami will be trying to take the top off with that speed, and you got to be thinking teams will not want to give up the big play. It's a momentum swinging play that teams won't want to give up, so they'll probably be trying to avoid that with the cover 2. And then if Tua shows that he can't get him to the ball deep, but they can do the nickel and dime, then they'll adjust, right? But right off the bat, I'd imagine the idea will be to stop the big play.
Dwayne, if you're a Jalen Waddle owner after a huge rookie season, I think a little bit in the shadows of Jamar Chase, obviously what he did, but nothing to be scoffed at for sure. Are you panicking a little bit? Now, obviously there's a new dog in town. He's always been seen as this premier wide receiver one in fantasy. If you were a Jalen Waddle owner, I mean, the free agency period happens fast. You had this rookie stud, and are you panicking? Are you selling? Are you holding? Are you trading? What are you doing if you're a Jalen Waddle owner?
Well, I'm not selling Jalen Waddle ever at this rate. I mean, he is electric. There is some concern though on a week-to-week basis. I don't think you're going to see that same consistency. If you look at McDaniels, who's the coach now coming over from San Fran, he's a system game planner, and there is some scariness with that. Being a George Kittle dynasty owner, I ran into that multiple times last year, that he'll have huge games and then there'll be games they just keep him as a blocker. And when you have two players like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, who are, to me, carbon copy players of each other, I don't know if Tua is going to be able to support two wide receiver one types, especially when, once again, McDaniels is a tight end kind of guy as well. So you throw Gesicki in there and then you get the running back in there. There's some definite short-term concern, but Jalen Waddle is an elite talent. I don't think you panic at this stage. You got to see how that plays out. I think, 1A, 1B type thing. I don't know if you have that 1A. You had Jalen Waddle probably as a top 10 dynasty guy. I don't know where he sits after the trade, but he's still going to be fine.
So definitely buying the panic, right? Somebody else is panicking, you're going to swoop in there and try and buy in there. I know Armand's already tried to lowball Zach a little bit. He's a Waddle owner, so Armand's been trying to swing in there. So hopefully he doesn't listen to this episode too much.
Yeah, it's tough when all the guys I want Zach owns.
Yeah, and every time you say, Gibson, Zach, you want to trade me him?
Yeah,
he stinks. I mean, everybody else, he's really good, but Zach, he stinks. I've had a hard time trying to make dynasty trades in our home league after starting the podcast. That's one thing I've noticed. But yeah, I think Waddle, I think he's going to be just fine. I know different offenses, but I think this is a comparable situation to Jamar Chase and a T. Higgins. I'm not going to be opposed to owning either of them. There's going to be big weeks with Chase, and then Higgins is going to be kind of on the outside looking in, and Higgins is going to have the big week, and Chase is outside looking in. I think you hit the nail on the head there, Dwayne, when you said it's a 1A, 1B scenario, because I don't think one's going to surpass the other as being the main dog in town, but I think you're going to get big performances from both still. I think you hit the nail on the head there.
To go a little bit with what Dwayne was saying about the systems offense, right? Two dynamic playmakers on that team. They are the most dynamic guys on that team. They're going to be designing plays to get the ball in both those guys' hands over probably Gesicki or their running backs, because those two guys are the best offensive weapons they have.
A little bit of follow-up from this trade too, and as to be expected, after this trade happened, people expected DeVonta Parker to be moved, and the reports right away were that he was traded for a later round pick. That was the immediate reports. So thinking, maybe a 5th round, 6th round pick for DeVonta Parker. Okay, clearing up a little bit of cap space. All right, no harm, no foul. It turns out New England ends up giving a 3rd round draft pick to pick up DeVonta Parker and add a weapon for that. I would say a little bit of a hungry offense for a little bit of a wide receiver presence. They had the presence of Jacoby Myers and Kendrick Bourne kind of came on a little bit there, maybe the middle of the season, but they're looking for, that big, maybe potential wide receiver one to help out a nice little season for Mac Jones coming into a sophomore season here. So DeVonta Parker, are we expecting more or less the same that we saw with him in Miami, or is this a little bit of an uptick, Dwayne?
Definitely, I don't see an uptick. In fact, I see it as a bit of a, if you're a dynasty, if you're owning him in dynasty, you're not thrilled about where he's going. You got a couple tight ends I'd like to use with the Patriots, and you didn't even mention Aguilar is there as well. They like Jacoby Myers running that underneath stuff, and he's kind of the slot guy. In terms of the offense for what it will do for New England, it's again definitely going to help. They've been missing that outside presence. And so they definitely brought him in to kind of, get over the top a little bit, and he can make those contested catches that they've really struggled on the outside. So it's going to open up that offensive stuff a bit. But in terms of his production, fantasy wise, I'm not thrilled with it. If I'm a Mac Jones owner, very happy, but not for DeVonta Parker's value.
Absolutely. And one last follow-up piece here of this trade, obviously losing Tyreek, they needed to add and replace there. So Kansas City was quick to go out and sign Marquez Valdez-Scantling. They ended up signing him to a 3-year deal worth $30 million. I think it's upwards to $36 million, if I remember correctly. I mean, MVS is not Tyreek Hill by any stretch of the imagination, but they've already signed Juju Smith-Schuster, adding MVS, and the rumors now with adding some draft capital, they could be potentially going after maybe a round 1 wide receiver. That's something that we'll be able to kind of talk about maybe in the next couple episodes as we get into our draft primer. But the Kansas City Chiefs did replace that empty position of Tyreek Hill. One other signing, Andy Dalton signed with New Orleans as their backup to help out with Jameis Winston. And then Ronald Jones also signed with Kansas City to a 1-year deal. Now, this one kind of sets fantasy Twitter up in an argument, I guess. Ronald Jones versus Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And at this point, I think you're either super against Clyde Edwards-Helaire or you're just an automatic truther and you're just going to ride or die with CEH. But I think people still think CEH is going to get that third down touches, going to be the receiving guy, but Rojo is going to come in and take the first and second down backs. I think at this position, this might be something that just might be worth kind of taking your hands off because all of a sudden there's rumors that KC might be trying to pick somebody up in the draft. I don't know what to do here, but Armand, if you had to pick one of them, it's draft season right now, and you're going to take CEH, you're going to take Ronald Jones, who you're going to try to add on your redraft roster.
I think I'm going to go Ronald Jones. He has a bit better track record in the league, and not that he's a great track record, but a bit better than CEH. I'm down on CEH, and also the draft capital. I think that you're spending on Rojo might be a little bit less than CEH at this moment.
I think he might be getting the goal line work too. I think Rojo fits the bill a little bit better than CEH does, but that's one time will tell because CEH has been battling with health issues, now with Rojo coming into town. He did a pretty admirable job in Tampa Bay, and people are forgetting how young Ronald Jones is. I think people think that he's like a 26-year-old back here. He's a young little spring chicken, still a lot of tread on the tire. So, well, we'll see what's going to happen there with KC in their backfield. A couple quick things before we get into Armand's Keep Trade Cut here. The overtime rule, I guess you can call it the Mahomes, the Allen rule. Now, this rule is only be put into the playoffs, but it's going to guarantee that both offenses will be able to possess the football in overtime. There's different speculation, if there's a safety, the game's over. So that way both teams wouldn't touch the ball there, obviously. But this is a change. This was something that people wanted coming from the playoffs. I know a lot of people wanted something maybe a little bit different, more college or CFL style. We were working in from the 25 or something like that. But hey, at least now we're going to see some good football because, if this playoff rule is in effect, I think that Kansas City and Buffalo game still might be going on. They still might be going back and forth. But I know, Armin, this is kind of similar to what you had in mind, right? You wanted just to keep the game going if that was correct?
I was more towards the CFL rules.
Maybe it's Zach then.
Yeah. But this is better than nothing. It's what the people want to. You got to adapt and you got to make it more entertaining for people. And I think this is more entertaining. It puts a lot of onus on the defense too, especially on that second possession. If a team gets a field goal, then team marching down, it really puts onus on you, and you got to make a stop.
I think it's going to be exciting for those games where they do score that touchdown right off the hop. KC goes down and Kelsey punches that one in. Well, now it could be 4th and 26. You're going for it, and you can. Well, that's 4th and 26. It's going to be exciting. So I think that secondary possession, if they do score in playoff football, is going to be exhilarating.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the real key. There is what you want. So you win that coin flip. I think you want the ball second because you know what the offense has done, and then you can gamble on that 4th down play. So I think most teams are going to elect to take to kick off if they win that overtime coin flip.
I wish they would have changed. I know they don't want to change the game too much, but I wish they would do something different for the regular season. I know I hinted at this a handful of episodes back, but remember when Detroit and Pittsburgh went to overtime, in the regular season? How bad was that? It was literally kick the ball off, 3-and-out, 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 tie. It was like this, that. Nobody wants to watch that. Let's try and make these bad teams more entertaining to watch. And that was just a bad football game. But I was wishing that, you coin flip, you want to go first or second, 25 in. Okay, well, you get a field goal. Okay, well, now do you want to try and tie the field goal, or you want to go 4th and long to try and score and win? Like, I think there was ways to make the game more entertaining, especially for those really poor teams, but nobody wants to watch 10 minutes of just kicking the ball around. But let's see some excitement. Let's see some football.
I like, you know what? As a fantasy football podcast, that's an extra quarter of scoring that those guys are getting. So come on.
Hey,
Whether some 3 and outs, there's still some guys collecting some stats there.
Well, what if you went back and forth? There was 6 different possessions of major scores. You could have that's a lot of touchdowns you can go back.
Well, that actually that is interesting. That's one angle I didn't look at actually.
Could add a lot of points. All of a sudden, you could have a 30-point lead, and one game goes to overtime, and all of a sudden you're down 40 points because they put up 6 scores each. Could be especially for quarterbacks, that could be an absolute nightmare swing of events. But yeah, at least at least we can know that the best team's going to win in playoffs. And I think that's where it matters most, is the playoff games. And the regular season, it is what it is. You take your tie or you take the loss, and you should have stopped them, I guess. And at least the regular season, your season will continue. But in the playoffs, to lose that way, that is unfortunate. So it's going to make those fun games a little bit more exciting. So especially with this playoffs, I think it was the first 7 games all ended on the last play, like their field goals or walk-offs. So to watch a little bit more exciting football continue like that, I'm all for it. So I'm happy for the rule change. A couple more things. Bruce Arians has stepped down as the head coach. This was a bit of a wild one. The Tampa Bay saga continues here, and I'll see what TB12 does with the new head coach, and maybe a possible new little system there, depending on who's going to be the play caller, I suppose. Frank Gore retiring after 13 seasons. I think Armand and I made a bet on the very first episode of the podcast on where Frank Gore was going to sign, and obviously he didn't sign anywhere. So that was just a mute bet at this point. But Frank Gore officially retiring. Detroit Lions are going to be the host of the Hard Knocks of this upcoming season, in the 2022 season. So I'll be glued to Hard Knocks a little bit more than I usually am. And then a little bit more positive Detroit Lions news. They'll be hosting the 2024 NFL draft as well. So we don't get a lot of positivity on the field as of late. So I'll take all this good news I can get here as a Lions fan. But everything's coming up smooth. I had a buddy say, they're Hard Knocks this year. They're the draft the year after. Maybe they'll host the Super Bowl the year after that, and they can win it at home. And it's okay, let's pump the brakes a little bit here. Like, that's a quick rebuild, but I'll take it. I'll take a 3-year turnaround. But yeah, a little bit of line stuff to watch. I'm not going to complain too much. You figure Armand a little keep trade cut or what?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, I'll preface this before we start by me and myself and Dwayne were chatting before Armand jumped on the call here, and he says, this is gonna be a hard one. I want to keep all 3 of these guys. So I say, this is perfect. We're gonna make this one real hard for Armand. So we are doing sophomore wide receivers and guys that we would say had pretty good rookie campaigns, and we're looking to build off those rookie campaigns into an awesome sophomore season. So we've got wide receiver Rondale Moore from the Arizona Cardinals. We've got wide receiver DeVonta Smith from the Philadelphia Eagles, and we have wide receiver Elijah Moore from the New York Jets. So Armand, keep trade cut.
All right, I'm gonna start with I'm cutting Elijah Moore. He's a Jet. Kidding aside, he's the one that I've seen the least out of so far.
Hold on, Armand. I got to give you this one. Didn't get much on the feedback on that one. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, I haven't seen much out of him yet. And I feel like he's not in a position to become the guy for the Jets. He just doesn't seem like a alpha guy to me. But that's my opinion on him. Then for trade and keep, I am trading DeVonta Smith and keeping Rondale Moore. The reason I'm picking to trade Smith is because I think he gets a higher trade value right now. You're going to get more for him. He had the better rookie season, and people are looking at him as a top tier wide receiver in the NFL. And he started to prove that a bit near the end of last season as well. Rondale Moore, keeping him. He has a great opportunity here in Arizona with Kyler Murray and Christian Kirk moving, and he's got an opportunity to be a burner on that offense, and hopefully a playmaker that they design plays to get the ball in his hands as well, with his athletic ability that he possesses. He is a great athlete, and he could definitely build and become and bud into a star in this league.
You piqued my interest here. I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer in this one. This is a tough one, but I'm curious to see if Dwayne agrees or disagrees on this one.
This one's really hard because part of the problem is I have a fantasy football crush on all three of these guys. So it's really tough. I actually went out. I drafted Rondale more last year in my main dynasty league. Love him. Still think his ceiling is extremely high. And yeah, Armand really made a good point there with Christian Kirk moving on to Jacksonville and having AJ Green no longer there, is by the sounds of it, that it's going to be a big opportunity. And then you hear, obviously I know it's the offseason and there's lots of buzz around teams, but that they're going to be using him a little bit differently, moving him down the field a little bit more targets as a receiver instead of some of that. I mean, it was ridiculous how many balls he caught by the line of scrimmage. So they do want to use him a little bit differently. So I'm high on him. I'm going to caution to not be high on Elijah Moore. He had a stretch last year. I know that he had a slow start, but week 7 to 13, he was healthy. He was actually in my main league. He was the number 3 scoring receiver. And then he got hurt in week 13. So there was a 7-week stretch where he was the wide receiver 3 scoring. And that was with Zach Wilson struggling as well. Keep in mind, the Jets were the youngest roster in the NFL last year. You know, I think they had a rookie or head coach, or brand new offensive coordinator. Like there was a lot of moving parts there. And when he played, he was heavily targeted in those games, and he had a couple of massive weeks. So you know, I don't want Elijah Moore. I'm going to be buying him in some redraft. I'm going to be getting him, I think, on a few of my teams. And then DeVonta Smith, I made a trade for him this offseason. So once again, another guy that I'm really high on. But DeVonta Smith, I think, is going to be in line for a big year. I think the Phillies got to do a better job of getting someone on the opposite side of Smith. They need to free him up a little bit, but he's an elite route runner. And I think with Jalen Hurts taking, another year in that system, I think DeVonta Smith is going to have a very, very nice year. I don't know. I want all three of those guys.
So I'm going to say the one reason maybe why I'm fading Elijah Moore, not because I don't believe in the talent or I don't believe in the capability, but there's a lot of links to the Jets adding obviously another wide receiver in the draft here. And the reason why is I'm seeing a lot of connections with Drake London. And I am a huge Drake London fan, big time London fan. So I don't want to own both guys on the same roster. So I'm going to be trying to go after London big time, especially ends up in that Jets offense, because I think they're going to take a big leap forward, like Dwayne mentioned. So I'm going to probably try and avoid Moore a little bit there too. I own Smith. I like Smith a lot. I am trying to trade him right now, trade high. I have a team that's a very I won the league, so I'm hoping to go back to back. So I'm trying to buy low on a stud right now. It's hopefully he's not listening to this episode. I'm trying to flip DeVonta Smith into a DK Metcalf somehow. So I'm trying to do a little bit of magic there. I'm with the trade rumors and stuff like that. I'm trying to buy the rumor dip a little bit. So, but yeah, I think I would. Oh man, I think I'm gonna cut Rondale. I'm gonna trade Elijah, and I'm gonna keep Smith. Just the buzz with Elijah Moore right now on Twitter is pretty high. Everybody's trying to get their hands on a little more, and then not as much on Rondale. So I guess in the situation here, we got more is more and less is more, I guess, if I'm going to keep it cut here, but I'm going to hold on to Smith, I think, but I don't think there's a wrong answer. Truly, I don't think, because there's pros and cons to both, and they kind of are all in a very similar position where they have an opportunity to take a big jump. So I guess we'll go into our next segment here, and I'm actually looking really forward to this one. So if you haven't listened to Guess Soup, and our last one, it was our third episode ever, and we came up with the idea that you're going to come have 5 hints to try and guess a specific player. So we're not going to tell you who it is. If you guess the very first hint, if you guess it correctly in the first one, you get 5 points. And then after all the way down to the fifth hint, if you guess correctly in the fifth one, you get 1 point. And we're going to keep track of how many points each player gets. And at the end here, Armand and I we'll spin the wheel. Whoever is the loser between myself and Armand, we're gonna have a little bit of. I'm gonna put down. We'll go a $10 gift card to Tim Hortons, so that way Dwayne's in the running here, so he can try and win something as well. If he wins, he'll get the $10 gift card. If Armand or myself wins, then this is just we're gonna spin the wheel because it's. I'm not buying Armand a $10 gift card. It ain't happening. I'm just gonna make him spin the wheel. It's gonna be awesome. So I'm gonna go first here. I got a few here just in case anybody stole mine. And I know Zach's gonna be choked listening to this because he really wanted to do this one. But for all you listening out there, he had a little bit of a mishap with his rental property, so he's unfortunately out on this one. But my player, my very first hint. So if you got your pen and paper ready to go, I'll let you know. First hint, I played college at an SEC school and was named MVP of the bowl game that I won. Any hints or any guesses? Anybody popped in your head? All right. I'll go to the next one. I was drafted first overall in my draft. And in my rookie year, my season ended early due to an injury. Any guesses?
Nope.
All right, I'll go to my number 3. After coming back from a season-ending injury, I won the Comeback Player of the Year award, leading my team to the playoffs. Oh, I thought maybe that one might give it away.
I think I have it.
You want to take your guess?
I'm going to lock in.
You're going to lock it in. Armand's locking it in.
The only thing that's throwing me is I don't know college enough to know if he's actually SEC.
Yeah, if you think you knew, I think this would have given it away. But okay, we'll see. Number 4. I wear number 9 and recently made a trip to the Super Bowl where, based on my play, I had a shot to win the Super Bowl MVP.
Well, yeah, I know who it is now.
Okay, you're going to lock it in? Yeah. Armand, are you willing to share your guess as the first guess?
Sure.
Who did you think it was?
Joe Burrow.
Ooh. Joe Burrow. And Dwayne, what did you write?
Yeah, Joe Burrow.
The 5th hint was, I was traded last offseason and I'm a perfect 1-for-1 in Super Bowl appearances. The correct answer is Matthew Stafford.
Oof.
Should have known.
Oh, yeah.
Trick. That's
I was trying to go with Matthew Stafford. I was thinking, I looked at some stuff. I was like, I could try and mislead them a little bit. And I was like, I can't believe how similar these were. Matthew Stafford in 2009 won the Capital One Bowl, and he was the MVP in the Capital One Bowl. And he was drafted first overall, and his rookie season was cut short due to a knee injury. And then coming off of his shoulder surgery, he won the Comeback Player of the Year in 2011. And then obviously he wears number 9 and had a pretty good Super Bowl, other than one pick that was his fault. Another pick was the receiver's fault. So he had a pretty good Super Bowl, and he's 1-for-1 in Super Bowl. So I had to get Matthew Stafford in there somehow.
That was tricky. Well done. Well done.
My next one's not as tricky. It's pretty straightforward there, but I had to throw a little curveball in there.
I like it.
All right. Okay, who's next here? Let's see. We got Armand. Yours is next.
All right. Hey, my first guy here, his dynasty ranking is a head scratcher. He's ranked 81st overall, beating out guys who just broke out and statistically were a lot better than him this year. He's beating out Dalton Schultz at 84 and Hunter Renfrow at 82. He had 60 catches for 497 yards and 7 touchdowns last year.
Well, that was a lot there. So he's ADP 81st overall.
Yeah.
And then can you give a little bit more of that stuff there?
He's beating out Schultz and Renfro right now, who had breakout seasons and had way better statistical seasons. He went 60 for 497 and 7 touchdowns, just to kind of give you an idea of how far behind he was from Schultz and Renfro in his performance last year.
Was that all the first hint? That was a mouthful.
I know. I
Okay.
saw this though, and I was like, "Oh, I got to bring it up on the pod. This is why I chose him." I was like, "It's a good talking point."
Okay.
I have a few ideas, but nothing close.
All right. Hint number 2, he was drafted last year in the 2nd round. That's it. Short and sweet this time.
Like NFL draft
yeah.
okay.
NFL draft, yeah.
I need another hint. Hint 3.
All right. This one's going to start giving it away a little bit more, especially if you know your college ball. He was the first Penn State tight end to win the Big Ten Tight End of the Year award.
Yeah, I'm gonna lock mine in.
Yeah, me too.
I'm gonna say, who is Pat
Oh, wait.
Freiermuth?
Nope. You're supposed to write it down. No, you gave.
Oh,
me
sorry, I wrote down Pat.
So wasn't Pat, before we go there, before you give your answer, wasn't Pat Freiermuth with Notre Dame? I think.
No, he was Penn guy, wasn't he?
I don't know. Well, Armand, you can give that answer, and because I was gonna lock in. I had Pat Freiermuth, but then I thought he was a Notre Dame guy.
No,
Anyway.
he was Penn State. Yeah, it's Pat Freiermuth. Nicknamed Baby Gronk was the next one, and then he replaced a retiring Vance McDonald.
So I did write down Pat Freiermuth.
There we go.
There we go.
I'm just glad to help out Dwayne with the points. As long as they didn't go to Armand, I don't care.
No.
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna write down here. We got Dwayne.
No, you got that one, Jordan.
Got 3 points, and then I got 3 points as well. Okay.
Alrighty.
Dwayne, we got yours here.
All right. So this player was, I guess, who am I? I think I kind of went with that route last time. I'm a 4th-year player. We'll call it a breakout season. And prior to last year, I never had more than 95 targets in a year. So that's hint 1. So he's a 4th-year guy. We'll call it a breakout season. Never had more than 95 targets in a year.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Okay. On that same target-based thing, I was the 9th most targeted player in the NFL last year with 157 targets.
Can I lock mine in?
You can lock it in if you like. You can write it down.
I'm gonna take a shot here.
Okay, well, wait. We'll keep going and we'll come back to you. Armand, would you like me to keep going?
I'll take one more.
Alrighty. So this player played on a team that had 611 passing attempts, which would have been the 9th most in the NFL as a team last year.
I'm gonna lock mine in.
You want to just keep going through the hints, or
Sure, I'll give you the remaining 2 hints.
I'll hold my pen up so you know I'm not cheating here.
Yeah, no worries, because the next hint kind of speaks to what position he may play, because he had a 40 time of 4.83. So he's not fast, which is probably throwing you 2 off. And then the last hint was he was the number 1 scoring player at his position last year. So who did you guys think it was?
I put Hunter Renfro.
Yeah, I put Hunter Renfro too.
Wrong. Mark Andrews. 157 targets last year, which was phenomenal when I was looking into it. And the thing too that the hints kind of threw it off, but Baltimore Ravens 611 pass attempts last year. I think if one thing that when I was doing it was, I think Mark Andrews is going to be in for a huge decline next year. I think they weren't successful last year with that throwing the ball. They got behind. Their defense is going to be a little bit better, but they're going to rely more on running with Lamar Jackson coming back, J.K. Dobbins coming back. So I think he's going to be a huge, not that he's going to be bad, but he had never had more than 95 targets to then have 157. So anyway, yeah, that one really surprised me looking at his stats.
As soon as I started going targets, I thought, who received a ton of targets, had a bit of a breakout season. I was like, this is Hunter Renfrow. It's got to be. Thought I had that one snuck in early. I was like, oh man, I'm going to take a lead. Just once again, happy Armand didn't get points. That's okay. Okay. All right. Okay, I got both of my guys here didn't get taken, so I just got to pick and choose which one I want to go with. They're two very similar players. I'm going to go with let's go with this one. Okay, first hint. Yeah, first hint. I am entering my 5th year in the NFL, and I was an early 2nd round draft pick. Okay, you want the next one?
Yep.
My current ADP in best ball is 96 overall, which can convert to 8th round, 12th pick. So just about a 9th rounder, and wide receiver 44.
Oh.
Nothing?
Nothing yet.
In my 4 seasons, I have only hit wide receiver 2 overall finish, like season overall finish once, and have finished as low as 180th.
Holy.
Who is this?
I'll even give you more. I finished 19th, 51st, 46th, and 180th in no particular order. So I'll give you more to that hint. Want another hint?
I need another one.
Yeah.
In my career, I only have in my 4-year career, I only have 12 touchdowns, but I've surpassed 1,200 yards 3/4 of my seasons. The only season I didn't do it was due to injury.
Surpassed 1,200 yards in how many of the seasons?
In 3 of 4. The
Okay.
only season I didn't do it in was due to injury.
Huh.
I think I have it, but I don't know.
Well, we're on hint number 4, so this will be the last one if I give it.
I'm locking it in.
You're
Just to
locking
try
in?
to get the extra points, but I'm not sure.
You're gonna lock it?
Yeah, I'm locking. I think I have it.
Okay. Armand?
I want to hear the last one.
Okay. I've had 8 starting quarterbacks since I've joined the league. In 2018, I've had 1. In 2019, I've had 3. In 2020, I had 4. And in 2021, I had 2.
I think I got it.
So some of the starting quarterbacks overlaps. He's had 8 in total. But in 2018, he had 1. In 2019, he had 3. In 2020, he had 4. And then in 2021, he had 2.
Where's that timer thing? He only gets another 10 seconds.
Yeah, where's my time? Do I have a
I think
time?
he's thinking too long. What's that? Give me that sound.
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Armand, you gonna take a guess?
Just because I have to, but I know I'm wrong.
Okay, let's go Armand first.
Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson is incorrect.
Yeah, I
I'll
knew
give you
that.
this one here, Armand. Take this. Take that. Dwayne, what's your guess?
Who is Brandon Cooks?
No.
Oh,
Who is Cortland Sutton?
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna do a very similar one, but they were honestly so similar. I was gonna do another one, but I won't say his name just in case somebody else uses them. I'll reference him at the end. So Cortland Sutton, yeah, he's had in 2019 and 2018, he had his kind of breakout rookie season. And then he ended up kind of tailing off at the end. He finished 51st, but he had some really, really big games. In 2019 is where he kind of actually had his big breakout, where he finished 19th overall, 27th in points per game, but he had some really, really big games. 2020 is when he blew his knee. So he had the really big week one, then blew his knee towards the end of the week one. And he finished obviously 180th. And then 2021 with just the revolving door that was the Denver Broncos, he ended up 46th just with outside looking in. So 8 quarterbacks he's had: Case Keenum, Joe Flacco, Drew Lock, Kyle Allen, Drew Lock again, Jeff Driscoll, Rick Rippon. And then you had that kind of Philip Lindsay / Hinton game where they had no starting quarterbacks due to COVID. And then last year, obviously, Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater. So that is Cortland Sutton. I couldn't believe in the 3 years, even last year, he surpassed 1,200 yards. I think it was 1,256, I think he had last year.
Actually wild.
But still only 12 touchdowns. So hopefully he gets a little bit touchdown positive regression with the addition of a new quarterback.
No doubt.
I was going to put that in there as the one hint there that I knew have a new quarterback, but it still wouldn't have separated a couple of my guys I had to guess. So I'll leave it at that until we talk about the other one after. Armand, your last one here.
All right. So this player, I'll do a Dwayne style here. I was drafted to the same city that I played my college ball in round 3, pick 105, I think is what I put here, in 2017.
Round 3, pick 5?
No, I don't know what I wrote here. It looks like 105, but that's not
Also
right.
round 3, 105th overall.
Yeah,
Maybe. So in 2017.
and the same call or same city I played my college football in.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna need another hint.
Okay. Dwayne?
Yeah, another hint, please.
Okay. Despite finishing top 5 RB last season, he is currently just barely in the top 30 in Dynasty for his at RB.
Like for ADP or
For out of all running backs, like just running backs. He would finish top 5 in RBs last year, but he's barely in the top 30 in the rankings for running backs.
for the upcoming year, or what do you?
Yeah, for the upcoming year. Or in Dynasty. Sorry, that was Dynasty rankings that I was looking at.
I'm gonna lock my answer in.
Okay.
Oh no, 2017. You said, hey.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. No, I disregard that. disregard scratching that out.
Okay. You guys want another hint here?
I can't remember who the top 5 running backs were last year now. Yeah, I need another hint.
All right. Despite this finish, I have never actually had 1,000-yard rushing season.
Excuse me.
I am drawing blanks.
Yeah, I have one name that's stuck on, but he was drafted in 2018, not 2017.
My issue too is I have one guy, but I know he's had 1,000-yard rushing season.
All right.
Yeah, go number 4.
Okay. I am one of many running backs to have shared the backfield with Le'Veon Bell.
I got it.
Oh,
I'll lock my answer in.
Hey. Dwayne, you locking in?
yeah, I'm locking in. Yeah.
Okay. This one will give it away. That one gave it away pretty good, but I've beat Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Yeah,
James
James Conner. Yeah,
Yeah.
who's James Conner?
Yeah.
For some reason, I had in my head that he was a UDFA. For some reason, I was like, was he drafted? But I was thinking of Philip Lindsay was undrafted.
Yeah. Phil Lindsay
Who was the guy that you were thinking there earlier?
Well, I was thinking, but 2017, but I was thinking maybe Melvin Gordon, but he's had a 1,000-year season.
He was like,
he wasn't top 5 last year either.
I thought Josh Jacobs, but he was drafted in 2018, but he's had a 1,000-yard rushing season too. So that we get 2 points there, eh, Dwayne? 2 points.
Yeah,
you do.
Oops. 5 apiece. All right, Dwayne, the last
Alrighty.
one.
So I need to lock
Alright.
mine in on this first guess if I'm actually going to tie.
Just about, yeah.
Well, I'll let you. Yeah, you know what? I'll add one. So if you wanted to throw in and lock it in and try to guess, I'll add just a little bit to it so you can at least try to make up the points.
All right.
So,
Armand, even if you guess on the second one, if you guess on the second one and I don't even get it right, I'll call it a draw.
Okay.
So I've been in the league for 4 years. If you throw away last year, all right, so just pretend that last year didn't happen. So 2 of the first 3 years, I had combined over 1,000 yards rushing receiving, and I play running back position.
Hey, say that again.
So I'm entering my 5th year in the league.
Okay.
All right. So 4th year last year, not a good year. But in my first 3 years, and 2 of those 3 years, I combined for over 1,000 yards rushing and receiving. And I play running back position.
Okay.
All righty. I have 18 career rushing touchdowns. Not going to help you a ton there, but
I got to lock in, I guess. I'm stuck on one name, but I'm pretty sure it's wrong.
all right. So my career average yard per carry is 4.5 yards per carry.
Holy man. I still have the one name that's still been in my head from the first one, but I don't think that's correct either. But we'll see. I need another one.
All righty. I was a round 2 pick in 2018, 38th pick overall.
I got it wrong.
Can I lock? I'm going to lock it in.
Okay. And
Yeah,
I
I'm
will
gonna
just
lock it
say
in.
hint 5.
Yeah, do it.
I will say hint 5. I was just signed by the Kansas City Chiefs.
Nope, I got it wrong. I put down Miles Sanders.
Oh, that was a good guess too.
I put CMC.
I was thinking David Montgomery, but I was like, no.
I wanted to tie Ronald Jones back into the guess who because I wanted to, when you were mentioning earlier about the Ronald Jones signing, it got me because I'm not a big CEH guy. In fact, I actually think CEH is a bit of he was overdrafted, not a huge fan, and started looking at some of the Ronald Jones stuff, and really, I think that he could be in line for a surprise year. I think that he lost his role to Leonard Fournette, but I think that a couple of those seasons he caught 38 passes. I think it was in year 2. 2 of those seasons over 1,000 yards combined rushing and receiving, and that's what they like to do. Like to have multi-purpose guy with that offense. I mean, Darrell Williams put up some good games when CEH wasn't there, and Ronald Jones is a better player than
and he's fast.
Darrell Williams. And the thing too is, like you were saying, he's 24 years old. Like he's just drafted 2018. So he's kind of a little bit of a sleeper in my eyes.
Yeah, he's got a ton of NFL experience, and he's still young. Like he can still break out and have multiple years of high level production.
And I also think that, you know what, you didn't hear him complain. You never hear bad things, even though he's kind of, so I think he might be a decent team guy as well, because, you're not hearing that he was a cancer and stuff, even though he's kind of been losing, lost a spot, lost his role.
He's been outside looking in. Okay, I'm going to do one more. I got to do this last one. I got to get Armand on the board here. I'm going to do one more just for giggles. Dwayne and I tied, so I'll take the win against Armand, and we'll still give Dwayne the $10 Tim's gift card just because. So if he gets this one right, we'll say he gets the gift card. If he doesn't, life sucks. You got the extra bonus try here. This one's trying to get Armand on the board, folks. Okay?
All righty.
I'm entering my final year of my rookie contract. And in several metrics, I was high 90th percentile following the draft.
Sorry, what year? Final year of his rookie contract.
Final year of his rookie contract. And during the draft process, in several metrics, I tested a high 90th percentile.
Okay, next hint for me.
Yeah.
My current ADP is draft pick 38, which could be equivalent to early fourth round, and wide receiver 17. Get another one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Much the same as previously mentioned, Cortland Sutton. I have also played with 8 starting quarterbacks over my time in 4 seasons. 3 in 2019, 3 in 2020, and 3 in 2021. So 8. There's overlappers. But 3 in 2019, 3 in 2020, 3 in 2021, and now entering his 4th year in 2022. Want the 4th hint?
I am going to lock it in.
Okay. Want the 4th hint there, Dwayne?
I would like the 4th hint. Yep.
In 2022, I'm continuing on with my trend as I now have another new starting quarterback. I thought maybe you'd have got this one for sure, Dwayne. We talked about him lots.
Well, now you're throwing me off. We talk about a lot of guys lots, so I don't know.
True. That's
now,
true.
I got one wavelength that I'm on.
Well, we got one more hint anyway, so all you gotta do is just get it right.
Yeah, okay. Give me the other hint.
I've played for one franchise, but I've been called 3 different things.
Yeah, I have mine right. I got it right.
One franchise, and I've been called 3 different things. Why am I not getting it?
Surprise, Armand's not throwing the timer belt at you yet.
Give me 10 seconds here.
Okay.
It's the bonus one.
Contract 90th percentile.
Got to make him beat you, Jordan.
8 quarterbacks. Can't be. No, it can't be him.
Soon to be
I don't know. So I have Juju Smith in my head, but it's not him because Big Ben would have played for all those years. It's got to be a franchise that has multiple quarterbacks. And he's been in the league 3 years?
This will be his 4th year, end of his rookie contract.
Well, I don't know why I can't get it. You can give me the big old button there, but I am drawing blank. Yeah.
Armand, what's your guess?
Terry McLaurin.
Terry McLaurin's right,
Oh,
Armand.
shoot.
Yeah, well done, Armand. Well done. You locked that in early. Good for you.
Yeah.
I just got him in the dynasty league.
That's why I meant. That's why I
like
remember
Terry
before
McLaurin,
having a package deal.
Yes, I love Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, Ohio State
Yeah.
product, 4th year, because he was obviously that late round draft pick. Case Keenum, Haskins, McCoy, Haskins, Smith, Allen, Fitz, Heineke, Gilbert, Wentz as his 9th quarterback. High at
We
ADP.
did
I was
just talk
surprised.
about him.
I was
Yeah,
surprised.
and we
with
did
the
just
high-
talk about him. He's with Wentz coming in. I honestly think McLaurin's in for a huge year.
I hope
Well,
so.
I mean, it's probably the best quarterback he's played with.
Well, and now they're talking about what they're talking about trading him though. There's some teams looking out just in case they're interested in
Oh.
trading with the big move. So I wouldn't hate to see it.
I don't know. I don't mind Wentz in terms of like I don't like Wentz as a quarterback that produces a lot for fantasy, but in terms of having a wide receiver 1, McLaurin's a lot better than a guy like Michael Pittman, and Michael Pittman put up some pretty good numbers.
Yeah, well, he locked him
so-
in. Yeah, I can't believe the 3 different names didn't get you. I didn't say names; I said 3 different things.
Yeah.
Commanders. I still got to get used to. I like the football teams way better.
Yeah.
When you said I've been called 3 different things, I thought you meant the player. So I was thinking the player's got nicknames, whatever. I wasn't even thinking the franchise.
Yeah, I think he's just been. What has he been? Just Scary Terry his whole career. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have said 3 different names maybe, but team names, but that would just gave it right away.
Yeah, that would have been if you would have said team name. So I was thinking we've been called 3 different names. So I was thinking, yeah.
I didn't realize he tested 90th percentile.
90th percentile. I had it on my laptop. I have it. I have the desktop open today, but he ended up testing quite low in certain metrics, but really, really high. Like he was 97th and 96th in 2 metrics. I think he was 90th in the 3rd. Then he was like 46th in another one, and that was what I think what got him drafted because his outbreak in college was so, but then his testing metrics were very, very high. So.
Yeah, I was thinking DK Metcalf when you first said the testing metrics, and then it was the quarterbacks that got me onto Terry.
Yeah. So that means we'll have a tie first, and Armand, you got on the board. Well done. Well done.
I want to point out that until that bonus question, you guys only got mine right.
Well, no, we both got 2 right because we both got 5, right? We both got because I think I got we both got yours right? Pat Fryermuth and
James Conner.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I was just looking to see if I have a round of applause one. I don't have one. That's too bad. I gotta add that to the old list. That's too bad.
I think Jordan just doesn't want to give the guest a round of applause there, Dwayne.
Oh, yeah, I'll just do it manually here. I don't have to click no buttons for that one. I'll give you this one, Armand, for taking bonus round. I wouldn't wait that long. Dwayne, as a special guest, you want to give us your hot take here? I'll give us a hot take drop, and we can. Let's hear it. I'm very curious. I'll find the drop here.
Well, this is called doubling down.
Okay, here I'll give you the drop, and then let's hear it.
All righty.
You're not on fire, Ricky Bobby. I'm on fire.
All right, let's hear him, Dwayne.
Alrighty, so I'm doubling down because last time I was on the podcast here, I said that Zach Wilson was going to be the best quarterback from last year's draft class, and I'm going to double down and say that this year Zach Wilson will finish as a top 12 quarterback, and towards that 9 to 12 range. I'm not going to give him too much credit, but I think he's going to finish as a back end quarterback 1. I was starting to look at just projections in terms of what that would take. My main dynasty super flex league, that Tannehill last year was the quarterback 12, and he threw for just about 4,000 yards, 25 passing touchdowns, but he also ran, I believe, for 7 touchdowns and some yardage there to get to that quarterback 12 finish. So I think that Zach Wilson, another year in that system. I've been hearing nothing but positives. He's been flying around the country to meet up with all of his the receivers, the tight ends, and he's bulked up. He's got another year under the belt with that system. So I think that he could surprise some teams. So that's my ice cold hot take. That's called doubling down, throwing Zach Wilson in there, and I'm a big Zach Wilson guy. So hopefully he does me proud.
He's a guy that you could almost get. I'm not going to say free, but in single quarterback leagues, you could get him for next to nothing. But he's a guy that I'm trying to get everywhere in super flex leagues right now. Like in the league that Jason and I co-own, we've decided that we're going to try and hit the reset button and try and get some youth. And we're kind of in this little weird window where we got a lot of vets and not a lot of young players. So we're trying to hit a reset button, do a soft rebuild. And I said, if we're going to do this, let's try and get young at the quarterback position and wide receiver, the 2 really key positions to set yourself up for a nice dynasty run. And I said, man, I think Trevor Lawrence was a name that is still going to cost quite a bit, even though he had a rough season. When you look at a guy like him, Wilson, I think guys are ready to write him off, but like that, I'm not ready to write that arm talent off.
Exactly.
He's got a cannon.
Yeah, you got Trey Lance is still the unknown, right? So his value is holding, and you have like you said, Trevor Lawrence value is sky high. I'm talking about those young quarterbacks, but
yeah.
I'm really I don't want to write Wilson off. I think that he can use his legs. He's someone that can make every throw. It's just a matter of the game slowing down a little bit for him, and he's still the way that young quarterbacks are treated too. If they don't come out, when you have those, like now that you have Herbert and you have Burrow, I mean, those are the anomalies. You don't come in and just light the world on fire.
Yep.
So I think that, like you said, my main dynasty league, I kind of got myself into a really good quarterback circumstance here, because so Tom Brady retires and I'm sitting with 3 quarterbacks. I had Derek Carr, I had Zach Wilson, and I had Jalen Hurts. So I said, I can't, super flex. And I'm the champion from the previous year. It's a big money league. And so I'm not sitting there, in case, Wilson maybe doesn't pan out or whatever. So I go and acquire Russell Wilson, and I give up Tyreek Hill and some things to get him. Well, now Brady comes out of retirement. So now I got Brady, I got Jalen Hurts, I got Zach Wilson, and I moved Carr in that. I moved Carr in that package as well. And so I'm sitting there with all this quarterback stuff, and I'm trying to move Zach Wilson to better enhance my team in other spots, and nobody wants him. Like I can't give him away. But maybe that's partially because I've been hyping him since the start before draft last year that they're just so sick of hearing him. But nobody likes him, nobody wants him in my dynasty league, and here I am. I can't give him away. So I don't know. I think that we'll see. But I'm hoping to double it down here and saying that he's going to finish that. That back end quarterback 1 status.
I was not much of a Wilson believer, but I didn't give him much of a chance. I think looking at some of the weapons they have, and they're going to keep adding for him. But I'm a firm believer, and I think that it's going to get even better for us guys that pay attention to fantasy year in, year out. That's with the people, the I'll call them the redrafters that just they check in, draft, season's over, thanks for coming, let's do it again next year. Where they're going to look at these rookie guys or the dynasty players that aren't super avid. You look at the Jamar Chases, you look at the Justin Jeffersons, the guys that have come in, and those are the anomalies. I like that you mentioned that. They're the anomalies. They don't come in and just be the best year one. That doesn't happen. So I'm not going to go after like the Jalen Ragers, the guys that are just complete write-offs after year one. There's no spark. There's nothing. There's no juice, which is why I think the guys like Rondale Moore, guys like DeVonta Smith, the guys like Elijah Moore, where it's like, you saw flashes, but then they didn't have this huge Jamar Chase year. So it's like, oh, okay, well, maybe they're not that good. Let's move on. You lose interest in it. So you can kind of swoop in and get those guys a little bit on the cheaper side. This year, I think Elijah Moore he's still expensive because he did it, like you said, for about a 7-week span. Rondale Moore, significantly cheaper. Even DeVonta Smith, he still carries such a great value. He was the Heisman Trophy winner. He didn't show anything that discouraged you from him being good. He showed flashes, but people are like, he's okay. But
Yeah, he wasn't Jamar Chase, right?
Yeah, you can get him cheap. In redraft leagues, the ADP is going to be low. In Dynasty League, you can test the waters. You could get him cheap. Like, you're not paying Jamar Chase prices, but you're getting a pretty good product that you're going to have for a long duration of time. So I think I like that you hit the nail on the head there. Those are the anomalies. And you can't expect that year in, year out. But people are going to start expecting, because it's happened 2-3 years in a row now, where these big names have had big year ones. But then it's like, and we're a product of we want instant production. Sometimes you got to wait, and I think the waiting it has the riches for the people that are waiting to bear that. So I like that you mentioned that for sure. Anything to mention there, Armand?
Hey, I agree with all of that. We can't expect every player to come in and instantly be a big hit. There's guys out there that are huge fantasy assets now that took a little bit of time to blossom, and we gotta let it play out sometimes, or hope to find those guys when they're cheap still, while guys are writing them off.
Yeah, absolutely. We got 2 minutes left here in the college game, so I think we got to wrap this bad boy up. So UNC had a huge lead, and they're starting to chip away, and Kansas has pulled ahead, and it just airballed the 3K. We're good. UNC's got a chance here. So yeah, anything left here to throw in, Armand, before we wrap this bad boy up?
Hey, thanks, Dwayne, for coming on again. It was a lot of fun. Hopefully we can do it again sometime, and we won't be owing you a $10 gift card next time.
Yeah, I'm real
Thanks, guys.
Real appreciative of you jumping on here, Dwayne. We'll have to get you one more time. At least get Zach on here. I think Zach's just scared maybe your takes are a little bit contrary. You guys are gonna have an argument or something, because for some reason Zach doesn't want to jump on here when we got Dwayne on. But big thanks for jumping on, Dwayne. I guess, do you have anything last comments before we wrap her up?
Cheers. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Okay, well, let's wrap this bad boy up. That was episode number 45. Thanks for listening, everybody. Take care, and let's talk soon.